History is not a finished story. It's an ongoing investigation. At Echoes of Genius, we search for the clues that rewrite the books. Our investigation begins on a lonely hilltop in Turkey, with the discovery of a temple 7,000 years older than the pyramids, built by people we thought were primitive. How did they do it? And more importantly, why? This is the story of the discovery that changed everything. Echoes of Genius, Göbekli Tepe. For thousands of years, the rolling hills of southeastern Turkey held a profound secret, buried just beneath the earth. A secret that remained completely unknown to the modern world. Until a lone Kurdish shepherd noticed something strange in 1994. The top of a large, beautifully carved limestone pillar peeking out from the soil. He had no idea he had just stumbled upon the most important archaeological site on Earth. The discovery brought a team of archaeologists, led by the visionary German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt, who suspected this was no ordinary ruin. As they began to excavate the massive man-made hill, they expected to find a small settlement or perhaps a medieval graveyard. Instead, they found this. Massive, T-shaped limestone pillars arranged in great, deliberate circles. The pillars were covered in sophisticated, stylized carvings of powerful and dangerous animals. Foxes, snakes, lions, and vultures. It was clearly a place of immense importance, a ritual site, a temple. But the real shock was yet to come, when scientists performed radiocarbon dating on organic material from the site. The results were so extreme they had to test them again and again, believing their equipment was broken. The date that came back was not a few thousand years old. It was 12,000 years old, circa 9,500 BC. To put that in perspective, Göbekli Tepe is 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza and 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. It was built in a different world, at the end of the last ice age, by people we thought were primitive. It was built by hunter-gatherers, people who, according to our history books, had not yet invented agriculture, pottery, or even permanent villages. Somehow, these simple people, using only basic stone tools, were able to carve and shape massive pillars weighing up to 20 tons. And with immense coordinated social effort, they raised these megaliths to build the world's first known temple complex. This was not the work of a small band. It would have required hundreds of workers, all organized, all fed, all motivated by a powerful, shared belief system. A belief system powerful enough to inspire them to build a cathedral on a hill, a sacred site that may have been aligned with the stars. The discovery of Göbekli Tepe completely shattered our understanding of the past. It suggests that it wasn't the invention of farming that led to civilization and religion, but perhaps it was the very desire to build a great temple that forced hunter-gatherers to come together, develop new social structures, and invent farming just to feed their workers. It turns history on its head. A monumental temple built by people we thought were simple nomads. It is the ultimate mystery. Who were they, and how on earth did they do it? The age of the site was a profound shock. But the secrets carved into the stones themselves would prove to be even more mysterious. Scientists now believe the great T-shaped pillars are not just stones. They are highly stylized, abstract representations of powerful, human-like beings. Faint carvings of long arms, hands, and belts on their sides confirm their identity. They are silent, headless gods, or perhaps revered ancestors, gathered in a great, silent assembly. And they are surrounded by a world of dangerous animals. Not the animals the people ate, like deer or gazelle, but the creatures they feared and respected. Venomous snakes, snarling lions, and charging wild boars. This was not a menu of their daily food. This was a spiritual world, a universe of powerful symbols and shamanic forces that governed their lives. And on one pillar, known as the Vulture Stone, all of these cryptic elements come together in a complex narrative scene. At its center is a shocking image, a headless man, clear and universal symbol of death. The man is surrounded by a vulturous scavenger associated with death and a scorpion. Some astronomers believe this is not just a picture, but a sophisticated star map. The animals correspond to ancient constellations in the night sky. They argue that the stone is a memorial, recording a catastrophic comet impact that caused a mini ice age around 10,900 BC, an event that would have changed their world forever. A different theory suggests a more direct ritual purpose, that this was a site for complex funeral rites, perhaps a form of sky burial, where the vulture was a sacred creature, a powerful psychopomp that carried the souls of the dead to the spirit world in the heavens. The discovery of thousands of fragmented human bones at the site supports the idea that this was a place deeply connected with death, burial, and the ancestors. But it was also connected to the heavens. The circular enclosures appear to be aligned with the stars, likely functioning as sophisticated astronomical observatories to track the seasons. This was a place where the living could gather, track the cosmos, and perhaps commune with the powerful spirits of their stone-carved ancestors. And it was immense. Modern scans reveal dozens more of these stone circles are still buried, a complex far larger and more sophisticated than anyone ever dreamed, which leads to the final and greatest mystery of all. After 1,000 years of use, the creators of Göbekli Tepe did something extraordinary. They deliberately and carefully buried their own magnificent temple, moving millions of cubic feet of earth to entomb it perfectly under a man-made hill. They didn't just abandon it. They preserved it for millennia. But why? Why would they build the world's first great temple, only to bury it forever? The stones tell a story of a complex spiritual world, but the greatest story of all is that of the people who carved them. The central paradox of Göbekli Tepe is this: how did a society of nomadic hunter-gatherers, without permanent homes or farming, using only the most basic stone tools, manage a construction project of such immense scale and artistic sophistication? The answer requires us to abandon our modern prejudices and rethink the meaning of the word primitive. These were not simple people. They possessed a complex inner life, a rich symbolic world, and a deep understanding of engineering. The leading theory is that their society was not egalitarian. It was likely led by a powerful and respected class of shaman priests, an intellectual elite who held the sacred astronomical and engineering knowledge, and who could organize the labor of the common people. But one small group could not have done this alone. Archaeologists believe Göbekli Tepe was a regional pilgrimage site, drawing different tribes from hundreds of miles around. And what brought them together? The evidence suggests massive ceremonial feasts. Thousands of animal bones found at the site point to huge gatherings. These great feasts were a social glue, a form of payment and celebration that encouraged rival tribes to cooperate on a shared, sacred project. It was a massive undertaking, requiring a level of social organization and long-term planning that we previously thought was impossible without the structure of a settled agricultural state. Was the complex astronomical knowledge seen on stones like this held by everyone? Or was it the secret knowledge of a priestly elite passed down from master to apprentice over many generations? What is certain is that these people were united by a powerful and sophisticated belief system, a belief powerful enough to inspire them to quarry, transport, and erect dozens of 20-ton megaliths. A belief centered on these imposing stone figures, their gods, their ancestors, or perhaps silent guardians of the cosmos. Göbekli Tepe shows us that the human capacity for complex, social organization and shared purpose is far older than we ever imagined. It was this ability to cooperate, driven by a shared, sacred mission, that was their most powerful and most revolutionary tool. And this great gathering of people, this monumental need to feed a large and organized workforce, would directly lead to the single greatest invention in all of human history. The final mystery of Göbekli Tepe is not how it was built, or even why it was buried, but what its very existence created. we may never know the precise reason for its burial. Was it a ritual to mark the end of an era, or a desperate act to protect a sacred place from a coming catastrophe? Whatever the reason, the act itself was one of reverence. Not an act of destruction, but of careful preservation. The creators of the world's first great monument were also its first great curators, sealing their masterpiece under a man-made hill for a distant future to find. But the puzzle of its burial pales in comparison to the secret of its birth and the revolution it sparked. To build a monument on this scale required hundreds of workers living together for decades. This presented humanity with its first great logistical crisis: how to feed a large, stationary population. And the answer, it seems, was born in these very hills. The intense need to feed the temple builders may have been the catalyst that sparked the agricultural revolution. Modern science confirms this. Genetic analysis shows that the ancestor of most of the world's domesticated wheat comes from a mountain just miles from Göbekli Tepe. For centuries, we believed the story of civilization was simple. First came farming, which led to settlements, which finally allowed for complex religion and temples. Göbekli Tepe turns that entire story on its head. It suggests our whole civilization, from our first villages to our modern cities, did not begin with a practical need for bread, but with a spiritual need for meaning. The human imagination is what may have sparked civilization itself, and the story is far from over. Today, less than 5% of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated. Scans reveal that dozens more massive stone circles are still sleeping beneath the hill, holding secrets we have not yet even begun to imagine. The man who rediscovered the site, the late Klaus Schmidt, famously said that we have only scratched the surface, and that it will take generations to uncover all its mysteries. What other stories, what other beliefs, what other echoes of genius are still waiting for us, carved in stone? Göbekli Tepe is more than a temple. It is the birthplace of an idea. The idea that humanity, even as simple hunter-gatherers, could organize, cooperate, and build something monumental, something greater than themselves. It is a testament to the power of belief, a 12,000-year-old echo that reminds us that the quest for meaning is what truly built our world.